Hey guys, it's Matthew here once again, and today I've got a lot of clips for you. Plenty of random things that have been happening on Prophecy, a lot to do with the League, and a lot to do with the Shield Charge Facebreaker character that I've been playing, which is now level 89. And at this point, I'm still only on a 5 link, still wearing a tabular with a Ancestral War Chief and a Shield Charge, each sharing a 5 link, which is basically no real reason other than I'm waiting to buy a 6 link and properly 6 link my Shield Charge while leaving Ancestral War Chief in a 4 link. But up until now I have managed to get up to tier 13 maps with absolutely no issue while wearing a tabular and some suboptimal gear still. Once I do finally get a proper 6 link and the rest of my other gear upgraded, I should have something like 50% damage reduction from armor. Something like 10k armor is what I mean to say. Potentially a Taste of Hate, which would be lovely. A 6th link, which would add about 30 or 40% DPS. And just a whole bunch more clear speed. And survivability. I should be able to break 6k life, and the character will, in my opinion, feel very well-rounded and almost complete by that point. Potentially even ready to take on Uber Atziri. As you can see though, the Slayer AoE is quite massive, especially when getting a massive shrine, but even without it, the 40% extra you get from Slayer is completely insane, and I love it. The build's current only real problem or situation is more just to do with shield charge and its single target, as I've talked about. The single target is not all that incredible or impressive from shield charge itself. We're pretty lucky to have Ancestral War Chief come into play this very patch as well, because he absolutely carries the single target damage for this build. And with that and shield charge combined, single target's actually not all that bad. If we didn't have the War Chief, I'd probably have to resort to using a 4 link or maybe also 5 link Cyclone. But since we do have a solid Ancestral War Chief, that's not too necessary. However, you can play Cyclone on this build pretty comfortably regardless, and even if you just want to throw it in as a single target setup or actually play it all together, you can see the difference here, as I'm playing Cyclone on a 5 link right now I believe. If I was going to be more of a Cyclone setup, I think I would run Blood Magic, or at least a mana gain on hit jewel, because this isn't too comfortable for the mana leech. But it still works, and as you can see it's a lot slower than Shield Charge, because Shield Charge is so goddamn good at the moment. Cyclone's fine, and there's nothing wrong with it, but Shield Charge is on another level because it's a tier 1 skill, whereas Cyclone nowadays, for physical DPS, is more closer to a tier 2. But it's good for boss fighting and cleaning things up where Shield Charge fails. This boss, even though it's got like extra cold damage and some other shit, it's actually not too bad, and Cyclone just takes care of business. Still on top of the Ancestral War Chief though. What about Prophecies for now? This one I'm coming across now is pretty much the last one in the chain for facing your rival, which just tells you to go kill an exile, and it'll have a different buff each time. This one had some guards or assistants, and also had a prophecy for drop a rare item on a rare from every slot on that exile. So it ends up being a complete loot pinata, and a very worthwhile prophecy to fulfill. Another pretty cool prophecy I've come across is the Corrupting Tempest one. Basically just will spawn a Corrupting Tempest in a map randomly, and they are great for farming 6 links, as we should all know by now. What you do is just grab the Tempest, and everything you kill will have a corruption mod on it that it drops. And that is pretty damn good for farming 6 links. The amount of 6 sockets and 6 links that drop can vary from map to map though. On average, after running 3 or 4 of these Corrupting Tempests, I've had about 1 6 link per map at the very least. What it's called is Val Wins, and at the moment it's up for about 20C. 20 to C to an Exalt, and you're looking for the Merciless version so that you actually get it in maps, I believe. And yeah, they're pretty rare, pretty expensive, so I wouldn't really try and farm these or buy them up, just more of a novelty if you actually come across it yourself. Next up, what happened on my very first Atziri run that I did a couple days ago was I had a Tormented Spirit prophecy, which happened to inhabit all three of the trio. Run, so I did die like a noob because I didn't want to back out of this, of course. But it's actually not all that bad, at least not on normal Atziri anyway. Each of these guys had a different ghost inhabiting them, and it just basically makes them faster, run faster, attack faster, and have their own perk from whatever the hell ghost inhabited them. But it really wasn't that big a deal, it was just really surprising, and I'd be careful of this on Uber Atziri, that's for sure. A surprise, however, Atziri herself was also ghosted at the same time. So in this map, thanks to this prophecy, both Atziri and the trio all had ghosts on them. And this one was a blasphemer. And basically it just curses me every now and again, but it didn't seem to really do that too often. So it didn't cycle as much as a normal one would. That said, it does still give her increased attack, cast, and movement speed. So you should be able to notice that she's doing everything a lot faster. And it was quite a bother considering it was my first Atziri run at around level 80 with some pretty poor gear here or there. We did get through it, I ended up dying to the trio. And nowadays, without ghosts or corruptions or anything, Atziri runs are actually pretty smooth on this character, even though the single target is so garbage. And I'll have more runs in the future, I think, up, potentially even an Uber attempt, since I think it might be able to do it. That 20% cull is absolutely MVP as well. Now, one other thing I thought I'd show you was just a quick gorge clear. This is one random gorge I picked up just to have a quick video of and show you how fast the clear speed and potential of this build is. We are still on a 5 link in this. I'm level 89 and this is my normal setup, haven't really changed anything, and this is how I'd normally clear a gorge. But as you can see, even with the tar zombies and several things happening where the gorge is a bit spread out, monsters aren't ideal, end up running about a 1 minute 30 gorge clear. And that's actually pretty fucking insane. Thanks to the Slayer AoE being so huge, shield charge being absolutely crazy with the amount of damage it deals, and the speed at which you can clear thanks to it being a traveling skill while also being a very solid damage AoE. I think if you have the right build you could probably go for something like sub 1 minute gorge with this shit. Not that I've ever actually fished for gorge runs or gorge speed clears. Could become a challenge, at least I would say, just to see if it can be done. I'd say something like a raider with max attack speed and lots of movement speed could maybe be the most ideal gorge clearer, but Slayer is actually very nice too, because of that 40% AoE, perma onslaught, and 20% cull. He just is a strong option. Also, don't forget, he does have that 50% reduced reflect damage, which counters out your abysses quite handily. Now the boss here, I've got something like 30 fire resist with early weakness up at the moment, and he's got extra fire damage, so he hits me pretty hard. Don't look too much into that, because it's really not that bad in the normal sense. I'll hopefully have some more shield charge videos for you up soon. But that's it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys are having a great time in Prophecy, and I'll see you next time.